how are you feeling right now? I mean, how are you really feeling? Take a moment and just check in with yourself. So many of us, whatever level, position, background we're in, are riding on an emotional roller coaster as we watch the events of our climate and ecological crises unfold. Awareness is raising, the urgency remains, and the realities of change can be maddeningly slow. This ride can take us through moments of deep grief and despair, joy, celebration, inspiration, overwhelm, fatigue, anger, and outrage. And we may be surprised at our courage and fortitude, and may want to curl up and hide away for a few days, weeks, or months. Now notice what your attitude is towards all of these feelings. Do you judge yourself for being too down, negative? Do you find yourself wishing you could be more positive and upbeat? Do you find yourself getting whiplash on the hope and despair binary? Well, it's time to blow that binary up altogether and replace it with something altogether more authentic and grounded and emotionally intelligent when it comes to leadership, when it comes to change. And it starts with our own experience, our abilities to, as the Sufi poet Rumi says, welcome all of the guests into the guest house, whether it's sadness, despair, hope, anxiety, inspiration. It turns out that doing that is a much more effective way of leading than turning into the hope police. We've been holding on for so long to outdated beliefs about how we approach change, that it's up to us to keep people and ourselves feeling upbeat, hopeful all the time, or that we have to bring others along to join the movement. As it turns out, that flies in the face of everything we know about resilience and the conditions for deep, lasting, transformative change. What if it's not up to us to keep ourselves and others hopeful and bought in, but rather more about how we hold space for ourselves and each other, and giving us permission to be human? A shorthand for replacing this hope and despair binary is what I call the 3 A's: anxiety, ambivalence, and aspiration. What makes us anxious, what pulls us in directions, the ambivalence, and where our aspiration lies. Our ability to bring compassion for these 3 A's, for our experience and for others, is the X factor. I want you to imagine for a moment that all of the messy, complicated feelings, experiences you may have are actually sources of your strength and capacity as a leader. Imagine that your job is existential change management, that surfing the tides of change, the ups and downs, the targets, the goals, the challenges comes with the territory. And imagine that your ability to name this, have compassion for that territory, is a core competency for leadership today and in the future. Leadership today is very different from what we thought it was in previous times. Today, leadership requires bringing our full humanity to the table. It may be uncomfortable, awkward, or weird, but in actuality, showing our true selves is where the real resilience lies. I invite you to consider how you can bring this into your day-to-day, in the meetings, the conversations, the interactions that await you. How can you show up as a convener versus only a cheerleader? What we need now are more guides, the ability to hold space for our own and each other's complicated reactions, experiences, points of view, triggers. And that involves listening and learning to what our anxieties, ambivalence, and aspirations have to tell us. It means putting to rest the hope police and instead stepping into something altogether more profound, real, hopeful, and inspiring. And that is the real work of change.